So in this video, we're going to show you how to resolve and troubleshoot the main issues you might experience while using Applied Cloud. So the first issue that users might experience is actually just logging in. They're entering their password, they click enter, and then they get this message here to say the username or password is incorrect. So the username, just to clarify, should be in this format here. So UK /, it'll be the first letter of your forename followed by your surname, dot, and then you have a customer code. So it's to do with your brokerage. Every brokerage has a unique customer code, so you need to put it in. Generally ends at 01 and an I. So that's generally the way a username should look. The second issue here is to do with the password. So what happens is people enter their passwords and they click enter, and then they get this message. So if the issue is not to do with the username, it's generally to do with the password. And the general issue here is that there's a number in the password, and people are entering the number using their numerical keypad on the right hand side of the keyboard. So if you have one of these keypads on the right hand side, don't use it, because the number will not be accepted if you use it that way. So if you just revert to your QWERTY keyboard, you'll see a line of numbers just above the QWERTY keyboard, and just use that instead, and then you'll be able to connect. So the next issue you might come across is you've actually just locked yourself out of the cloud. So you're not actually able to access it anymore. If you enter your password 3 times incorrectly, you'll be locked out. So what you need to do there is revert to your administrators in your office. So every brokerage that has Applied Cloud has 2 people who have been nominated as your administrators to resolve these kind of basic issues. So what they actually have is access to the Applied Cloud Manager. They will be able to access your account, and once they've accessed your specific account, they can right click on it and clear the lock or reset the password if you need to reset it. So there's no need to contact the support team over that. You can just, as it revert to your administrators in the office, and they can clear the lock or reset the password. Just in relation to the passwords as well, if you want to reset your password at any stage, just press Control, Alt and End, and that will give you the option to reset your password and actually lock the cloud session. The next issue then is to do with the upload center. So people are clicking on the upload center and it will not load. Well, generally the reason for that is that Internet Explorer needs to be your default web browser in order for Upload Center to load. So if it's not loading for you, that's generally the reason. So you'll need to refer to your local desktop and go into your default web browser settings and change it from either Chrome or Firefox back to Internet Explorer, at least temporarily while you use the Upload Center, and then you can revert back if you just use it occasionally. Another issue with the Upload Center is that people are dragging and dropping documents into it and they're continuously failing, or you're getting error messages or something like that. So that will probably be because the upload route does not exist. So this particular route, if it's failing on you continuously and you're happy that the format is correct in terms of it's a PDF, Word, Excel, something like that, generally it's pointing in to a folder that does not exist. So a quick fix for that is just to click change and change it to My Documents instead, and then click apply and OK, and then when you drag and drop in, you'll be able to that will upload the document, no problem. Another issue with the Upload Center is when you're dragging and dropping certain document types, they keep on failing and you're not sure why. Well, in the Upload Center, it is designed specifically for documents, and there's only certain formats that can be uploaded to it. So actually, if you just click on the help file and click on supported files, it will give you a list of documents that you can drag and drop into the Upload Center. So you just want to check the format of the file that you're using, and if it's not on the list, then you know why then it's failing. So for example, I know .msg messages, email messages, will not be able to be uploaded using the Upload Center. So it's just these document types that are allowed. So again, if you click on the help file and supported files for uploading, you'll be able to access that. Just a final point to make on the Upload Center: if the document is an acceptable format, but yet it's still continuing to fail, then it might be a case that the document actually does have a virus in it. In that case, it should be deleted. But alternatively, it might have something to do with your broadband speed and the load. So if everyone is trying to upload at the same time, it might time out and fail. So in that case, you might want to wait a few minutes and just click the retry button, and hopefully that should bring it up. So another common query from new users is how can they install new applications or desktop shortcuts on the Applied Cloud desktop. So in short, you cannot do that. It's not possible to download and install additional applications, nor is it possible to create shortcuts on this particular desktop. Instead, users should utilize the personal folders that everybody has. So if you go into your folder drives, you'll see one for company, which is a shared drive. And then also everybody has their own personal drive. So this is basically where you should store all of your folders and subfolders, because it's not possible to create the shortcuts on the desktop. Another common query we get is that sometimes people find the text isn't very clear in Applied Cloud, specifically with Relay. So we do have a fix for that if you find that the text isn't very clear. So if you actually just click on your folders icon up here, and you can access the control panel, which is just here. And if you just click on appearance and personalization and display, and you'll see here there's an option called clear type. So if you just switch it on and click through, the system will present different paragraphs, and you can pick the ones that are most clear to your eye. And just click next, next, next through the different options, picking the correct one or the one that suits you, and then click finish. And then you'll find the text in Relay is clear, or at least it should be. One thing to note here is that setting does not stick permanently. When you log off the cloud session, it will be lost. So it is something you'll have to set every day if you do want to use clear type. So the next kind of common issue that comes up quite frequently is to do with printing. So users are trying to print from the cloud, and they're noticing that they're not able to print, or it's not printing for them. So the first thing you need to do is just to check locally that your default printer is correct. So you need to minimize the cloud and basically just check that your default printer is set correctly locally. So I would basically just try and print a document outside of the cloud session. So if you minimize the cloud and just print a document locally, you just want to see, does that work first and foremost. So if it does work, then you should come back to the cloud and see if your settings are correct. So if I just launch Word here, you can see that Word is available on the desktop, and click File and Print. Then the options that you should have, or the options that you want, should be in this drop-down list. So when we install Cloud on your machine, there's a Screwdrivers application that's installed as well that will allow you to set your preferred printers. So you can see in this case, my preferred printer is available. So that means everything's okay. However, if it wasn't okay and I didn't see the printer I wanted, or the printers, what I need to do is minimize the cloud session. And if you just open Control Panel on your PC and click into Hardware and Sound, you'll see an option here called Screwdrivers. Okay, so this is Screwdrivers. This is version 4. Some new users from February 2020 onwards will be on the version 6 of it. But the way this works is, if you click on printers, you can see your available printers and the ones that are preferred. So the issue is probably that the ones that you want are available, but they're not been set. So the way to do that is to basically just select the printer that you want and add it in. And then what you can do is click Query Printers and let it run through, and that will set your preferred printers. So you can see here the querying has successfully completed. You can close and then click Apply and then OK. So that should resolve the issue. Then what you just need to do is log off the cloud and log back on again. And again, if you use Word as an example, just launch it and click on File and Print, and then you should see the additional printers that you've added in available. Just a final point there on the Screwdrivers application. So if there is certain printers or options in your drop-down list in the cloud that you prefer to hide or not see, you just need to come back to the Screwdrivers application, go into the Printers tab and select whatever you want to hide. So again, fax as an example, I can select that and click Add, OneNote Add, PDF Add, and etc. So anything you don't want to see in the drop-down list, your printer drop-down list in the cloud, you just need to add it to the denied printers. And again, just click Query, and when that's finished, click Apply and OK. New users who have just migrated to Applied Cloud will note that in the Relay system, generally when you've moved over to the cloud, the printer settings will have reset. So when you are printing EDI documents, such as motor schedules or certificates, you will need to reset your preferred printers and possibly trays the first time you use it after migrating to the cloud, and then the system will remember your settings. Other issues in the cloud, generally you're not getting emails through, so you should look at the bottom of your screen here just to make sure you are connected. If not, just give it a double click just to try and get the connection going, or exit Outlook and log back in again, and then just see if you're getting the emails through. Again, sometimes large emails will take longer to come through, so maybe just give it a little bit of time. If you want to add in additional email accounts, so you might have additional accounts called admin at or info at and so on. So if you have the credentials, if you want to add them in as an extra mailbox, so you can see here I have the one mailbox, but if I want to add in another one, just click on File and just click on Add Account and just fill in the credentials of the mailbox. So you need the full name, email address and the password, and just click next, next, next until the account is added. Just one thing to note though, once you do that, you'll need to restart Outlook and it will prompt you to put in the password one more time. So there's a little box you can tick to say that to save it, so you don't have to keep on doing it. Just some other issues there then. People sometimes get stuck in the cloud or they don't know they're in the cloud. So this connection bar at the top of the screen lets you know where you are, and it also gives you the ability to minimize it and go back to your local desktop. So when you see the blue connection bar here, you know you're obviously in the cloud, and if you want to minimize it, just click here and you're back. There is an X button there to close the server session, but we don't recommend it. It can generally, or it can sometimes cause problems with your printer settings or connections. So what you should do is use the log off button. So when you're finished with the cloud at the end of the day, log off the cloud, and that closes the session safely. If you end up clicking this option in the bottom left hand corner, this Windows icon, you'll end up in this screen here, and some people get stuck. So to escape this, just literally press the escape button on your keyboard. So it should be the top left hand corner, just press escape and you'll be back. So another common query we get is brokers want to install the cloud on a new machine or an additional laptop. So how do they do it? So if you have signed up to Applied Community, which is our online portal for brokers to manage certain aspects of their business, you should go to Applied Community and log in, and go to product information and click on Applied Relay and Applied Cloud and Downloads, and that'll actually bring you into the installer section. So you'll actually see the installer. So if you just double click on that, then the system will start to install the cloud installer on your machine. So just follow the prompts through. You will need to put in the username and password in the correct format. So that would be UK /username customer code with an I at the end of it. So that's available through Applied Community. And just to finish then, if you find that the experience in the cloud is slowing up, or you're having some sort of issue where it's not behaving correctly, the best thing to do is just to simply log off the session and then reconnect, and you can connect with a different server in our data center, and hopefully that will resolve the issue. So if it's just not behaving correctly, best thing to do is always just log off and then log back on again. So that completes this video on troubleshooting in the cloud.